What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping back into American Truck Simulator, and today is a highly requested video. Today we are going to show you guys the mods that I run in the realistic settings with the realistic economy and everything to show you guys exactly how I make my game look the way it does and play the way I do. There will be links in the description below. As a full disclaimer, just want to let you guys know that some of these mods are extremely resource heavy. Like you can see the haze and the fog that's clearing. That one is really resource heavy, but we will get into that here as we go throughout the video. And stick to the end, and I will show you my settings in the game that I actually have too, to where you can try to make your gameplay as much like mine as possible. But just wanted to give you a full disclosure that all of these mods are also free and located on Steam with links in the description below. Or if the link doesn't work anymore, I know sometimes they do run into issues with that, you'll be able to just search it in the game. So let's jump into this. All right, so as you guys can see, I do have 80 mods in for this starting from scratch series video. Now, some of these mods aren't needed, and I'll show you that. They're just like engine sound packs and things like that, but we are going to dive into it. Now, please be advised that these have been heavily tested, and these are my top picks for the best mods. Now, just because these work for me does not mean that these are going to work for you. These are in the perfect order that I've got them to work just right. So you can literally go down this list that I've got them listed below in the description, as well as you can just read right off the list here and make yours match exactly mine. Now, do know that some of these are heavy resource required, or they're heavy on resources. For example, like these traffic mods or the traffic density mod that I have wherever it's at, hidden on here somewhere. The traffic density mod, this one right here, when we get to that, just know that the traffic density and the brutal graphics, those are heavy resource required, or they're very heavy on your PC. So if you have a lower end PC, I don't expect one of these to even work well on your PC, let alone together, let alone plus 80 mods or 100 mods. I do have over 100 mods on another one of my accounts, but on this one for the realistic series and the realistic settings and everything, this is it. So I'm going to go right down the list just in the order that I have them, and the links will be in the description below. So starting right at the bat, we have the realistic economy mod. That is what makes it hard to upgrade, as well as, or hard to level up, I should say. You get less XP as well as less money. It's more realistic. You get paid anywhere from a couple of cents, less than $1 starting out per mile, all the way up to, I think the most I got was like $3.50 a mile as you get leveled up and more experience. There is a even harder version of that, which I will show you guys whenever I can get to the very top. Here we go. This one's even harder. I don't know if you guys can see this little screen right here I'm popping up. Hopefully you guys can see that because it is in the game. But this one's even harder. It'll make your experience really, really low. I personally, I'm not using that one, but I do really like it, and it is in the description below. So the next one, and that's what helps me have that grind mentality, or you're not making a whole lot. So now the next one is the real fuel prices. Pretty self-explanatory. It makes the fuel prices more realistic anyways. So the next two, I actually really like these, even though we haven't had to use them yet on the channel, but I have used them already for other videos anyways. But this one is the realistic used trucks dealer. Now that one plus this one here, more used trucks. I really like these two together. If you put them in, you will figure out and see exactly why I like them so much in my videos together. It makes more realistic prices. Believe it or not, but you can buy over $1 million-mile truck that's in really rough condition for just a few $1,000s using these two mods. Little hint, hint, wink, wink at an upcoming video using those two. Now, these very next two, or I would say if you want to be realistic, definitely do the logistics, and then definitely do these next two. So starting right off, we have JC Amateur Sound Effect Pack. Changes the sounds of everything you guys can read here. Feel free to pause it and read it, or go read it yourself. Click on the description. Just kind of giving you guys a little bit of a shorter version of this anyways, but it changes the sounds of everything. The trailer attached, the air clunks, detaching, your air brakes, everything. And I found that it works really well with the sound fixes pack right here. Both of those work really well together, and it adds a whole nother level of immersion and makes the game sound really good. Because let's face it, the base game sounds are trash, in my honest opinion. The next one is air transmission. I really like that on the manual trucks, specifically when I'm rowing gears, but that changes to a nice little air tone when you're changing gears. It'll, psh, 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 pretty quickly as though it's an air transmission. Now, I am not going to put in like my route advisors like Morgan Freeman here. I'm also not going to put in my engine sound packs because all of these right here, honestly, in my opinion, these sounds are honestly, they are opinion. It's a matter of whether you want to hear Morgan Freeman's voice, and it's a matter of some people like this engine, some people prefer this one, so on and so forth. These are just my favorites that I'm using, which we haven't even started using in this starting from scratch series yet or the realistic series yet. So they're kind of redundant. You really don't need them, and it would save you a little bit more resources, anyways. Because believe it or not, but sound mods are pretty heavy on your computer. That's why they're supposed to be set towards the top. They are heavy. Now, the next one, this one is one of my absolute favorites. This was actually the very first mod I've ever favorited there. It is the brutal graphics and weather. And just like that name says, it is, oh, excuse me, absolutely brutal. It's the one that causes the dense fog, the little haze when you get near big cities, the intense rain, the intense lightning and storm. It's pretty awesome. I highly recommend this one. But again, it is very resource heavy. If you have a lower end PC, be advised. Now, you can also go into your settings, in game settings, and change your graphics and what have you, whichever way you want. Just know that that one is pretty epic, but it is also epically resource demanding. The next one's a new one I just found. You guys saw in my live stream. It's called YARA, YARA, or Yet Another Route Advisor. This one really cleans up the route advisor. It puts it up top here, as well as you have a really nice GPS that pops up. Very clean looking and also more modern, in my opinion. I actually really, really like this one, and so far it works really, really well. Now, the next one, here's where it gets interesting. These are the traffic mods. This next one, this is the one that you guys have seen in my live stream. This is the realistic AI traffic behavior. I personally like this one. This is less resource depending on the next one I'm going to show you, but this is the one that I've been using to prevent, with all these mods, to prevent any kind of like lag or frame rate drop or anything like that. I found that this one is a happy median. Now, the next one I'm going to show you is absolutely insane. And it is this one right here. It is called Operation Traffic Density. I will put that in the description below. This is my absolute favorite. This is the one you guys saw when we just released the new truck with Swift with the sleeper. It's that truck, it's that video. Absolutely. They need to change this to brutal in all capital letters, brutal traffic density, because it really is. I mean, you'll have absolute slowdowns, you'll have crashes, the AI will crash, they'll crash into you, but you better believe it's heavy on the resource as well. That's like the word of the day, is heavy on resources, because it is absolutely insane, but it's one of my most favorites, and it does work well with all the other traffic mods. Now, the next one is Real Brands AI Traffic Add-on. I really like this one. As you see, it puts all of these brands into the trailers, into the game. So like AI will be driving down and you'll see Amazon go down, or all of a sudden you'll get hungry because you'll start seeing a Burger King sign and everything like that. That one's really cool, and that goes paired very well with some of the next ones I'm going to show you. For example, traffic trailer. Traffic trailer right here is one of my absolute favorites as well. You'll actually see other companies go down the road. Now, do keep in mind also, one thing I did notice with a few of these mods, plus this next mod I'm going to show you, some of these trailers while you're driving down the road will literally change. Like it'll be Swift, and then just as it gets past you, it'll change to the Red Bull trailer or what have you. I have noticed. Now, I do know that is because I'm using 3 different ones that change traffic trailers. And here is the third one I'm going to show you right here. It is AI, the trucks and trailers traffic project. I actually really like those. Now, I do believe this one is not working currently anymore. I can't remember. I don't think that one was working in my live stream. If I remember right, this will actually change the trucks to sit at parking lots and things like that. Like it'll make rest stops a lot more brutal to try and park in. But as of Friday, the 2 days before I recorded this video, I don't think that one is working, but it was working just a few days prior. This next one is also a really good one. It is the slow traffic mod. Now, do be advised when you put this on, you will see all 4 of these going down the interstate, going like 20 miles an hour. You'll even see a combine. It's cool. It adds a little level of immersion. I'm going to put this link in there, but I will put a huge disclaimer. Be very advised before you put this in, because if you have that brutal traffic mod, just expect hours of delays and miles long delays. But I am going to put this in there. All right, so now since we're still on the topic of traffic, I have several you can already see right here on the page. This next one is the AI traffic cars from ETS2. It'll put Lamborghinis, Jaguars, Mazdas, all kinds of stuff in there. That one is really cool. Now, I do have several traffic mods, but once again, be advised with all these different traffic mods, you guys can look over here and see all of the traffic mods I've put in. They do all add extra traffic into the game, which will be heavy on resources. So be advised if you're going to use traffic density mods that when you put these in there, it's going to be pretty heavy, but it is pretty cool. And I've been running them all very well. Next one is fictional cars traffic pack. It'll put like somewhat of a unrealistic, realistic looking car in there, kind of like Grand Theft Auto style cars in the game. I really like it. It breaks it up. That's what some of those high end supercars are that go down the road you see. Now, speaking of Grand Theft Auto, there is several Grand Theft Auto packs I'm using. Here is Grand Theft Auto 5 Classic Traffic Pack. You guys can read throughout here. You guys have seen a lot of these in most of my videos. I have specifically asked y'all what you think about them and whether or not you think they are, what they're called and that kind of thing in the videos. I do enjoy that. On top of that, we have Need for Speed Traffic Pack here. You guys know I'm a huge Need for Speed nerd, especially Underground 2. And this one's really cool because you'll see Brian O'Connor go down the road in a souped up car. This one's really cool. It adds just a little extra customization. Some of it's a little unrealistic customization, but it's cool to be able to see in the game. Now, also, you have another Grand Theft Auto traffic pack in the game as well. This one adds even more in there, which is why you see so many cars from Grand Theft Auto in most of my videos, because I have several Grand Theft Auto packs, and this one adds a lot. The next one is Chevy Step Van Traffic Pack. It adds these Chevy step side vans with these liveries in it, DHL, FedEx, UPS, what have you, in traffic. That one's pretty cool, especially when you get near big cities, because obviously you'll see more of these throughout the big cities. Now, this next one is also one of my favorites as well. We're going to go ahead and hit favorite on it because I've actually really liked it. This is heavy cargo in traffic. You actually don't notice this too much in most of my videos because there's only a few of them going through. I do have it lower on the scale here, or lower on the priority list in terms of traffic. I am going to increase that a little bit more over some of my other traffic packs. We'll probably put it up one more because it is a trucking game after all. I'll put it on the top of the traffic other than the trucks and stuff, just because I like seeing it. Now, I may have to change that depending on how much the traffic density backs up and everything like that. But that one's really cool. At first, I didn't think it was actually working. And then I started seeing the dozers. And I haven't seen one of these yet, but it's usually been bulldozers going down the road. So it's really cool to see. And then we also have fictional trucks, which is basically Grand Theft Auto trucks and some other, Burnout Paradise trucks and things like that. Most of the time, I don't really even notice what they are, except for when it is the Grand Theft Auto truck going down the road or what have you. But you guys can read that right here and see exactly what it adds. It's pretty cool. Just adds another level of immersion. You guys know I'm always trying. Then you have the Municipal, however you say it, police traffic pack. This one's pretty awesome. It does change different police, like Texas State Troopers and things like that, to actually look pretty realistic. And I really like that one as well. And then, of course, we also have the real companies, gas stations, and billboards. Now, this one is one of the ones that if you put in the wrong order, it will absolutely mess up your graphics in the game. You'll start seeing purple signs. You'll see purple trucks going down the road. So you definitely have to make sure you put this in the right order. If you do it, if you follow my order exactly how I put them in here, it'll work well. But this one I really like because you'll actually go to, in the game, you'll pick up from a Walmart. It'll be labeled as Walmart on the job map, or there'll be FedEx. Obviously, there's a Swift headquarters and everything else. I really like this one as well. Now, for the sake of this, I am going to skip all my like accessories and stuff like that, and wheel packs and everything. That'll be a whole nother video. If you actually go check it out, I do have another one already on my page. Those still haven't changed and we're really not using them. Now, I am going to include a little bit of cargo in on this. Not too much, but there's a few. We've got Thanksgiving cargo pack. You'll be able to haul things like turkeys and, decorative corn and stuff like that in there, as well as the Christmas cargo pack. You guys just saw that on my live stream. We hauled on my live stream with it, where you can haul presents, like different appetizers and food and stuff like that for Christmas, Christmas trees, Christmas decorations, what have you. Now, two others that I'm also going to include is the Pepe's Cargo Pack. There's Pepe's Cargo Pack 2 and there's Pepe's Cargo Pack 1. I will have in the description below. Again, these add all of everything you see here. It just makes the game feel a little bit more realistic where you're not hauling the same stuff over and over again. I highly, highly, highly recommend these two. If you're only going to do 2 cargo packs, do Pepe's Cargo Pack and Pepe's Cargo Pack 2. Those are pretty awesome. And then as you can see, there is some others like assorted cargo and alcohol where you can, obviously haul. It's pretty self-explanatory there. But I'm not going to put those in the link below or go any deeper into those. You guys can check them out yourselves. Now, I am going to just briefly touch on a couple of paint jobs. I'm not usually going to do this, but there's a few that I do recommend if you want to be a little bit more realistic and use ones that I'm using. So right down the list here, we've got Prime Ink. That's been highly requested. We have 2 of them. One of these, it's going to be this one here, is in the description below. And you guys can feel free to also look over here and see other mods that I'm using, and the green ones mean that they are active in the game. I do also have Old Dominion. That's another good one to see going down the road. You can also see this other Old Dominion, but I'm just going to put the one. Then there's R&L Carriers is another one. And then another one that I really like is the Amazon trailer. I do like seeing that one in traffic specifically, especially as it's getting closer time to the holidays. Amazon's getting pretty busy. And then obviously there is also Swift that I am currently running. I will put the link to that in the description below. But once again, you guys can go over here and look and see all these other companies that I have. If you just go on Steam and type this name, it'll go right into the game, or it'll take you right to it. And of course, I'm going to save the trucks for a later video. All right, so jumping into my settings, I wanted to go over some of my settings with you guys. I know that was highly requested. So starting right off the bat, we're just going to go right down the list, and I'm going to explain why I have certain things set the way I do. We have fatigue simulation. I have that turned off because I already do role play where I have to pull over and sleep after X amount of time in the game. I usually drive about 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours, and then a little bit of a threshold because the in-game time goes a little too quick sometimes. So I do have that turned off because if you have it turned on, your driver will literally fall asleep while you're driving and you'll lose control and crash and damage your vehicle. I can't remember if you get fined or not on that. The next one is traffic offense. I also have that one turned off after having it on and racking up almost every fine you could possibly imagine. It's a little silly how easily you can get fined. If you go just slightly over the speed limit, I think it's like 5 or 6 over, and you pass a cop, you will get a ticket. If you just roll past a stop bar, which you guys know I'm always doing at red lights, you'll also get a ticket. And every time you do, just like in real life, it doubles, triples, goes way up. And using the realistic economy, it's not very fun when you're only going to make a couple $100 to a couple $1,000, let's say $3,000 per load, and you ran just slightly past the stoplight or the light turned red as you pass through it, and then you get fined $1,500 and you basically didn't make anything. So I have that there. As of right now, my preferred job length, I have it up to 89%. That's going to give me more longer drives, more longer hauls, I should say. I have it turned up to that for the live streams that we just did, so you can go on longer live streams. Before we do our 5K special, it's going to get cranked all the way up to here, which is going to give you really, really long hauls. If you have it turned all the way down to this side, to the left, you are going to do really, really short hauls. In the future, we will be doing that, just as a little sneak peek for one of my upcoming videos or upcoming parts of this series. Those are going to be really short hauls, like literally dock to dock within the same city. So do what you will with that. You can play around with it and see what you want. You can literally just move this bar however you choose and then go into the job market and see what the job lengths are. There we go. So for parking difficulty, I have it to always select. Sometimes if I'm just recording a quick video, I like to just be quick and be able to skip it. But I do also like the ability to have the extra difficulty on it. So random events, I have this turned up to 59. This is construction areas and roadblocks or traffic accidents and things like that where they've cut down to one lane, what have you. I have it up to 59%. I think I might bump it up all the way actually because I really like the immersion, especially around where I live. There's always traffic accidents and construction going on. So I'm probably going to bump that up again, but I have it at 59% again just for that live stream. Detours, I despise detours, absolutely despise them. I really don't like them at all. So I have that turned to 0. If I remember right, with 0, they obviously won't be going detours at all. And I can't remember the last time I had any kind of detour. Now, if you move it up to 100, I'm going to tell you right now, almost every intersection you come into is going to have a detour, and it gets really annoying. Rain probability. I did just bump this up to 15%. I'm going to probably bump it up a little bit more once again, just because we are approaching wintertime in real life. And because there's unfortunately no seasons in the game, I like to try and simulate the weather in real life. So I'm probably going to bump this up to about 40, 50% to try and simulate it, but I don't like it to always be raining. I personally have time zones disabled for now. Going forward, if you guys request it, we'll probably turn it on to where we have to role play when you cross over time zone lines. The time will also change in real life, meaning in order to get delivered at a specific spot, if they close between certain times, you won't be able to make it and you have to plan accordingly. Show blockers. Do what you will with this. This puts the big yellow X on roads you can't go down. It does say turn it off at your own, pretty much at your own discretion. Because if you turn it off, just like I have it now, if you're not paying attention to the map, just like what happened in a live stream, you will absolutely smash into an invisible wall there. It does get annoying. Now I have my transmission set to rail transmission with adaptive disabled for now and smart sequential shifting. This one's very important in my opinion. If you have that on, it will skip gears just like you can in real life, especially with automatic. It'll go from like start you in 2, go from 2 to 4, 4 to 6, maybe 6 to 9, what have you, depending on your driving and your load and how fast you can go, what kind of engine you can go in. If you have that turned off, it will go through every gear. It'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll do a lot of shifting. It's really annoying. I highly recommend have that on. Now, this next one's where it gets really interesting. So I have been playing around with all of these settings, specifically the truck stability. I have had it all the way up, and that's unrealistically too stable. You can take a turn at Mach Jesus and the truck won't roll over. I've also had it all the way down, where if you just take a turn at about 10 miles an hour with a heavy load, you will flip. So do what you will with that information. Right now, I've got mine set to 74, and that seems to be a pretty realistic feeling. Same thing with the cabin. Oh Lord, I can't tell. Cabin suspension stiffness. Same thing for that one. I have it set to 71, give or take that same threshold, 5% threshold. I really like that. It's not bouncing me around, making me motion sick while I'm driving, but it's not super stiff. You can actually feel the road. I'm actually probably going to turn this down to about 60% and see how that goes. I recommend 50 to 70, 75, somewhere around there. I wouldn't go too much lower than that, just because some trucks you will be bouncing a lot. Now, that does also depend on your other stiffnesses. Now, for this one, you have the suspension stiffness. That is how much the truck is going to bounce around. I have it set to 74 also. I think the truck stability with the suspension stiffness really feels good together at 74. Just like before, if you go too high, it's just very unrealistic. If you're maybe out just going on speed runs, sure, turn it all the way up. But I personally like it here. I am still playing around with that. I am actually playing around with all these settings, really trying to fine tune it, but these are the ones that I find the best. Now, drive shaft torque. We're probably going to bump this up a little bit. I had it all the way to 0 as I was playing around with these settings, just trying to figure out which one's going to work. This is what causes the chassis to twist. Don't be mistaken for Dominic Toretto in Fast and the Furious, but that's exactly what he's talking about. With the torque, when you step on the throttle, it will actually cause the front of the chassis to twist a little bit. I have it set to 0 for now as I'm playing around with these, but you can do what you will with that and change it however much you want. Now, the braking intensity, I actually like this at 0. At 0 braking intensity, you pretty much have to stand on the brake when you have a heavy load, and it will still barely slow you down. I do have it bumped up just a little bit for the live streams that we are doing, because I felt like as I'm recording videos, we're pretty much just dang near smashing into cars, even though I stood on my brakes for a long time. Also, do note that with this all the way down, this is the best to be at all the way down as low as you can get it if you like to roll your Jake brake. If you have a really nice engine in your truck with a loud exhaust, you're going to want this set to all the way down because you want to hear that Jake brake. If you move it all the way up, you just barely tap the brake and the truck's going from 60 to 0 in like 2 seconds. So air brake simulation, that one is a must for me. I actually really like that. It makes me be easier on the brakes. If you guys remember when I did my CDL training class, I actually had to be pretty easy on the brakes because I would obviously run out of air and the truck will just stop and won't move anymore. I also have realistic fuel consumption on. Pretty self-explanatory. It just burns more fuel. Now, uneven surfaces. I left that right in the middle at 100%. This gives you, honestly, in my opinion, the best feeling of when you're off-road, going down a dirt trail, or if you're like me and you veered off the highway in the live stream, this stays just how it needs to be. To my opinion, it feels really good. It's not super bumpy, but you can still feel it, but it's also not like you can't feel it at all. Then cabin accessories physics, that's what causes, if you have accessories like say a hanging scent, that will cause it to sway back and forth. It's pretty cool. Now, for now, I do have truck speed limiter set. I have mine set to 65 miles an hour, which I think, if I remember right, if you set it, that is what it's set at. You can't change the speed limiter. It'll set it to 65. If you play in World of Trucks, this is already going to be on by default. But I set it to that because I am role playing for Swift, and Swift has, as one of you pointed out, Swift does have speed limiter set to 65 in their truck. So I set that on there. Now, this is for your adaptive cruise control and everything like that. I don't really use the adaptive cruise control. I do use lane assistant mode. I have it set to lane keeping support. You can also change that and have it to lane departure warning and everything. I had it on there at one point, but it actually was beeping at me all the time because I'm constantly swaying back and forth. Blind spot sensor. My truck does currently have blind spot monitors. It is a new truck, so I like that on for now. It's what it'll beep at you if there's a car next to you when you put your turn signal on. When I use older trucks, that will get taken off. Also on the newer trucks, the rain sensor. If a little bit of rain hits the windshield, it'll start the windshield wipers automatically. And then I also have advanced trailer coupling on. That makes it a lot harder to back in and hit the fifth wheel. You really have to be straight on with the pin. Unlike as opposed to before, without this, you can be at a 90-degree angle, almost a 180-degree angle, and you can back and hit the fifth pin, and you don't have to worry about not lining up with it directly. So I personally like that one as well. Trailer stability. This is another one I'm playing around with. I tried to match my truck up there. I've got it set to 77%. I am going to bump this down actually right now just a little bit because I want the trailer to sway a little bit more. As I'm going a little too fast, I want it to move. If you move it all the way up, the trailer will be planted and you can take turns as fast as you want. Nothing will happen. If you move it all the way down, to me, it's a little unrealistic where, again, you just take a turn at 10 miles an hour and it's flipping. So that is my mods. That's with all the links and everything in them. That's how I make this game look the way that it does. So those are my mods. Those are all the mods that I currently am running. I do really enjoy them a lot. Now, as a full disclaimer, as I told you guys, I am only using mods that are free on Steam. Several reasons for that. One, because I'm broke and they're free. Two, because they are easy. And three, because they are the safest in my honest opinion. They're easy. You can just click subscribe and move it over into the right order. And in terms of safeness, you don't have to worry about buying false files and having to spend money to free a print in order to get them somewhere overseas. Now, the other thing, I do understand that there are some mods out there that are truly worth money that some creators are actually making. I have not used any of them yet personally, so I can't really recommend any of them to you guys. But I personally don't like paying for mods, especially because there's nothing more annoying than paying for a mod and using it twice and then either never using it again or the mod creator stops updating it and then it never works again after that. So I personally like just free mods, of course. As well as if you download mods from an independent party or like a third-party website or what have you, you do run the risk of you have to unpack them or unzip them, what have you, and move them into the right folders. And that's usually the spot where most people go wrong in the unpacking, unzipping them. And then they end up with purple and pink textures all over the place and nothing looks good. So there it is. There you guys have it. The very next video, I will show you guys all of my trucks, the favorite truck mods that I personally recommend. You guys can check that out in one of the next videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's a mod that you think I will absolutely enjoy that is located on Steam that you think will go very well with the series and the realistic starting from scratch series, comment it below and let me know what you guys think. Also, let me know what is your favorite mod that I showed you guys today. I'm absolutely loving these mods. They are working well for me. But again, as I said, full disclaimer, it is dependent. Everybody's setup is a little bit different, and some of these mods are heavy on the resources. So do what you will with that information. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like button. As always, guys, I will see y'all in the next video. See ya.